This morning, President Trump abruptly canceling the signing of a major piece of legislation that seeks to tackle the housing affordability crisis in what marked a significant bipartisan breakthrough.
In a Truth Social post, the president writing, quote, "Today's housing news conference and signing is hereby canceled until such time as we pass the desperately needed Save America Act, which I consider to be a national emergency." A reminder, that is the sweeping election reform bill that is stalled in the Senate that would require proof of citizenship to vote and overhaul elections. NBC News senior national politics reporter Jonathan Allen joining us now from the White House. Jonathan, first, let's get to the mechanics here. At a time the Republican Party was hoping to take a victory lap on combating cost of living, the crisis that's going on, paving the way for more housing inventory, can the president then just decide to let this bill passed by both chambers of Congress just sit on his desk?
Yes, absolutely, Sam. He can just let it pass. If they don't adjourn and he doesn't sign it, it becomes law without his signature. It is possible that he could veto it, but Speaker Johnson saying he thinks that the president may still sign this within the 10-day window. It's a bill that he supported. It's a bill that 85 senators supported. It's a bill that more than 300 House members supported. And it's something that they can all go campaign on, bipartisan go campaign on, as trying to address at least one piece of the affordability problem in this country.
You know, Jonathan, the president has called on Republican leadership to kill the filibuster to pass this elections bill. Do you have a sense, is there an appetite to do that?
There's definitely some appetite within the Republican conference in the Senate to do that, but not enough votes to get it done. There have not been enough votes to get it done for the entirety of this term of the president, for the entirety of the last term of the president, for the entirety of all recent presidents, and that's not going to change. In fact, there are senators who are not seeking re-election. There are senators who the president has helped defeat in primaries who are not going to be given to changing the rules of the Senate to help him.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.